Godet and Safi, and then later to conduct a multi-season excavation at Gezer. He finished off his career in Palestine with Duncan in Jerusalem in 1923, leaving the region shortly thereafter to attend to commitments in Ireland. His main legacy, Macalister that is the final report of the Gezer excavations. Published in 3 volumes shortly after the project was completed. One can and has criticized his lack of attention to context of the artifacts in that report, that the plans are hopelessly confused and could be off by as many as 10 meters, that he excavated too much.
Wrong direction.
Plans. Excavated too much, the yellow. About 60% of the site. Ostensibly to save the site from antiquity robbers, the first archaeologist to mention the harm that they do, and that he misstated and misunderstood various features. But this report continues to be an anchor for the study of archaeology of the region until this very day. On the positive side, one should acknowledge that he was a relatively good architect, having working both above ground and underground. Some of his drawings from Marisha, signed by him. Although his plans lacked elevations, and here you can see his underground work at Gezer in the water system, which the new excavations have observed that he was spot on, as they say in England. That he was a pioneer in exploring the landscape surrounding the tells where he worked, that he promptly published, and that he insightfully figured out the gross stratigraphy of Gezer after one season of excavation. When comparing his ability in respect to his contemporaries, one might say that there were better archaeologists and there were worse ones. One must keep in mind is that he was working on a shoestring budget without staff, and that is it is simplistic to compare his performance to those operating with larger budgets and larger staff like Reisner at Samaria. Macalister at Gezer was a one-man show. Macalister was also an excellent photographer. I developed this because of the next lecture here. He had an excellent eye and clearly used this medium as a major tool for recording excavated features and artifacts, as Shimon Gibson wrote in Villain or Visionary, an assessment of Macalister's work in Palestine. In the interest of providing a background to the lecture which is to follow, I will describe Mac's photographic concerns. At Gezer, he took 643 photographs, which was an enormous quantity when compared to the very small number taken by his predecessor Bliss at Tallahassee and elsewhere. Bliss's photographs were adequate, but Macalister's photos, according to Gibson, show he had considerable visual skills and a flair for getting the best out of the camera. And I just show you some of the wider shots, and the captions are also helpful. You can note that there's a stone, to the right are some stone vats for oil, which was only written by David Etam in 1979 that it was for oil, but he didn't know about Macalister or didn't pay attention to it. The reservoir, he not only did he photograph the big stuff, but also the little stuff. And this is an example of how he did the little stuff. Not so little. You can see probably the same jars leaning against their big house at Gezer. And shot of the high place. Macalister apparently used different kinds of cameras with glass negatives and nitrate film negatives. Out of the 643 photographs he took at Gezer, 55 were on nitrate film, according to Gibson. Macalister preferred making glass negatives, even though they were apt to break. In 1902, Macalister sent the PEF prints and pictures taken at the Tomb of the Judges in Jerusalem named Feshka and Qumran, writing, "I also enclose a fresh batch of photographs. They are not so good as I should like, having been taken with a rather leaky Kodak. I have sent it to be repaired." And then we have another description, which I'm going to, in the interest of saving time, I'm going to just show that he had an eye. He was disappointed when it didn't match what he was trying to achieve in his photographs. And same in another one. That he made lists, sent them to the PEF. They were broken in transit, and for example, he sent 12 boxes to the PEF. Boxes 1 to 4 arrived, 82 negatives, of which 8 depicting pottery glass were found broken. In boxes 5 through 12, 45 negatives were smashed. 7 had their corners broken off. And Macalister was brokenhearted to hear about this. But he took responsibility and said that he'll fix it at his own expense. He made copies of everything, so nothing was lost. So, he did the best he could. And in a PS, he felt guilty, and he explained that he couldn't keep it there because it was not a situation where he could keep such best negatives. Macalister eventually provided the PEF with 2 handwritten lists of negatives with captions. 217 of the photographs Macalister took at Gezer were eventually made public for sale, made available for sale to the general public, together with classifications and captions which he provided. And I hope I have succeeded to provide you with a positive picture of Macalister's photographic ability and concern for preserving the photographic record of his excavations at Gezer. Thank you.